Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because I'm going to be doing a full face of Flower Beauty, which if you guys have watched my channel for the past few years, you will know that I love Flower Beauty so much. I've used so many of their products for years now, and they have become absolute staples in my routine. So I'm going to be using my favorite Flower Beauty products, and I'm super excited because things come full circle. Flower Beauty is actually sponsoring this video, which I'm so grateful for. You guys seriously know how much I love this brand. I talk about them all the time. I've used them for years. You guys know how familiar I am with their products, and I know so many of you guys are also fans of their stuff as well. Again, I'm going to be using my tried and true favorites, so we're just going to go through this, and a lot of these things you will probably recognize because again, I've used them so many times on my channel. Okay, let's just get right into it. I'm going to be using the Flower Beauty Supernova Celestial Skin Elixir. This is such a gorgeous product. It's going to hydrate the skin, and it's also just pretty to look at. It also has like a smoothing and brightening effect, it says. It's definitely more of like a face oil, so it's gonna make your skin feel super hydrated, but honestly not greasy. I feel like this product sinks into the skin really nicely, so I'm just gonna take a bit of that on my fingertips and start blending it out all over the skin. Oh, before I forget, you guys, Flower Beauty actually gave me a coupon code for you to use. It is not an affiliate code, it's just Allie20. If you want to use it on their site at checkout, you'll save 20%, which I think is incredible, especially because these products are already affordable. So if you have not yet tried any of these products, now would be the time. Or if you're wanting to restock on some of your favorites, you could also use the code on their website right now. So I'll have all that info linked down below if you guys are interested in checking that out. Let's go ahead and go into foundation. You guys probably know how much I love this foundation. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. This is one of my all-time favorite foundations. I've used this for years. Gosh, it's been probably over 2 years since I started using this on my channel, and it's truly one of the best. I love how beautiful my skin looks with this. I'm going to be using the shade Nude L3 today. I love the packaging. It has a glass bottle with a pump. Okay, I'm going to apply some of that on the back of my hand. I'm just going to take my foundation brush and start to apply that all over the skin. So if you guys know me, you'll know that I love good coverage in my foundation or my complexion products. This definitely offers the coverage that I'm looking for, but it never looks overdone. It never looks cakey. It just looks fresh and glowy. So I'm just initially applying this all over the skin. I'm going to go back in with a sponge just to pick up any excess and also to press it into the skin a little bit more. I'm going to make sure to blend that down the neck, and then I'm going to go into the Flower Beauty complexion sponge. I love this sponge too. It's so good. It's so soft. It's one of the best from the drugstore. And I'm going to go ahead and take what's left on the back of my hand and then press everything into the skin. I typically mix 2 shades of this foundation just to get like the perfect undertone for me. This is a little bit slightly leaning yellow for my skin tone, so I typically mix 2, but I was just trying to simplify the tutorial for today, so I'm just using 1 shade for now. Okay, so now that we have the foundation all over the skin, you can see how beautiful and glowy and healthy my skin looks, especially layered on top of that Supernova Celestial Skin Elixir. This combo will give you the healthiest, glowiest looking skin of all time. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go into concealer. This is also from Flower Beauty, obviously, since we're doing a full face. This is their Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer in the shade L1 to 2 Fair. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this and apply this underneath the eyes. I'm also going to use it to kind of brighten up the T-zone a little bit. So I'm going on the forehead, down the center of the nose, Cupid's bow, and chin. And I am going to put a little bit over top of blemishes, even though this is a little bit lighter than the foundation we were wearing. I just need a little extra coverage along the jawline there. Okay, I'm just going to go right back in with my Flower Beauty sponge to blend that out. And you get the same kind of effect with this concealer as you do the foundation. You get good coverage, but you can also see underneath the eye that I've already blended out how glowy it looks, which I love. I think the Light Illusion name really fits this whole line because it really does give your skin a super glowy lit from within effect. And I love how these products wear. Like I said before, you guys, I've been wearing these for years now. So I'm very familiar with these products, and also for me, they're some of my most reliable products as well. But they just wear really well on my skin. How nice does that look? Look how glowy my skin is. Obviously, we can tone it down a little bit in a minute in the T-zone, but initially I'm obsessed with how healthy my skin looks. I've been really into a more dewy complexion these days, and this foundation and concealer definitely give that to me. All right, next up, I'm going to set the T-zone with the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Perfecting Powder. I have the shade Porcelain L1. I'm just going to take that on a small fluffy brush, and I always like to make sure that I buff out or pat out any concealer that's in the fine lines under my eye before going in with a powder to set. So I just made sure to do that underneath the eye, and then I'm going immediately into powder just to make sure that everything is locked into place. And again, I'm just focusing this in the T-zone because that's where I personally get the most oily throughout the day. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm also gonna take just a tiny bit of powder and buff it onto the eyelid just to prep and set for eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna go right back over the cheek area really lightly with the sponge, just because I wanna keep a little bit more of that glow. So I'm trying to press the powder into the skin a little bit more, like that. All right, we're gonna go into some of my very favorite bronzers. You guys know this. I love these so much. These are the Flower Beauty Heatwave Luminous bronzers. They're baked. I usually mix two shades, so I have the shade Sunrise L1 that I'm gonna start off with. This has a little bit more of a cool tone, so I like to put this on as like more of a contour or shaping kind of a bronzer. And then the other shade is Sunswept M1. This has a lot more warmth to it, so I like to take a fluffier brush and just kind of dust this shade over top of the first shade to add a little bit of warmth to the skin. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that first shade. Again, this is called Sunrise L1, and I'm just gonna start to gently press that into the hairline. I just kind of want to map out the general area that I want this shade. So I'm going back toward the ear, underneath the cheeks a little bit to emphasize the cheekbones. I'm also going under the lip. And I'm going to take this shade underneath the chin and down the neck as well. I'm going to take what's left on this brush and just pinch it and run that down the sides of my nose for a little subtle definition there. Also underneath the nose. Okay, next I'm going to dip into the other shade. Again, this is Sunswept M1. I'm just going to take the same brush and I'm almost going to apply this like a blush in a way, where I smile and apply it to the apples of the cheeks, a little bit above where I applied that first shade. I'm going to do the same thing over here, where I'm going to apply it just slightly lower than that first shade. If it goes over top of that first shade, that's totally fine. I want to mix them slightly. And then I'm gonna go over the nose a little bit, just basically in the areas where the sun would naturally hit. So a little bit on the chin, across the nose, up toward the temples, like that. Then I'm going to go back in with my foundation brush and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of stipple around the edges. I always like to do this if I haven't fully set the edges of my face and I apply a powder bronzer. I feel like this really helps to just blend everything into the skin. So I'm just gently going over everything with the brush first. I like to kind of buff along the jawline though, just to make sure that that color is blended in with the foundation. Then I'm going to take my sponge one more time and just pounce around the edges as well. Again, just to make sure that everything looks super seamless. My skin looks super healthy and glowy, which I love. These bronzers do have a tiny bit of a sheen to it, so it's not going to be like this matte, flat bronzer. It's going to be something that adds a little bit of life to the skin, but there's also not like sparkle in it, which is nice too. It just has a little bit of a healthy glow, which I really, really love. I'm just taking what's left on the powder brush and pressing over where I have large pores. And then I'm going to go into my Flower Beauty Brow Vixen Tattoo Effect Stain. This is in the shade Soft Brown. This is a really unique felt tip marker that I'm going to use to fill in my brows. So I'm just going to go ahead and start filling in my brows using hair-like strokes. So I realized that I should have done my brows before I put powder through my brows, because the powder is kind of soaking into the felt applicator and making it a little bit more difficult to apply. I've used this pencil so many times and I forgot about that trick. It is taking me a little bit longer to fill in the brows, but we'll get there. Okay, the brows look pretty good. I might come back and revisit those after the marker gets a little bit of a break. I'm going to wipe off any foundation that got on the lips. And I'm actually going to apply the lipstick that I know I want to wear first. I'm still trying to figure out the exact direction of the eye look. So I'm wanting to wear this Flower Beauty matte lipstick in the shade Naked Blush. It's such a pretty pink with like a little bit of a purple undertone. I feel like this shade is super flattering on me. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that and then just kind of blend it out with my finger. Okay, yeah, I think that'll help me figure out exactly the tones that I want to go with on the eyes. I'm actually going to go ahead and take the Flower Beauty Heatwave bronzer and I'm going to use the Flower Beauty double-ended eyeshadow brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and buff this in the crease of the eye initially. This bronzer has like a little bit of a pinky undertone to it, which I think is going to look really nice as a transition shade on the eyes. Not only to connect the tones on the face to the eyes, but also to kind of tie in that pinky undertone in the lipstick. So I'm just gonna work this into the eyelid, kind of up toward the brow a little bit, up toward the end of the brow. And then I'm gonna go ahead and apply a bit of that on the lower lash line as well, just to start to bring in some definition there. I'm just taking my sponge under the eyes just to make sure that everything is cleaned up along the edges. Okay, now I'm going to use one of my favorite things from Flower Beauty. This is the Jungle Lights eyeshadow palette. It's basically all glitters. Look how beautiful this is. I'm so excited about it. I love using this because it really is something that adds to any look. Like you can have a matte eyeshadow palette and then take this with you or have this in your collection and just use it for like the eyelid if you want something a little bit extra. The last time I used this on camera, I'm pretty sure I used the greens. So I really wanted to use this shade right here. This is called Wild. And I'm just gonna take this on my finger and I'm going to press this all over the eyelid and it creates the most insane foiled eye. I am obsessed with it. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, so that's one eye. I'm gonna do the other eye as well. I'm not too concerned about the edges leading up to like the transition area on the eye. We're gonna go back in and blend those together in just a minute. So I'm just focusing on the initial placement of the shadow all over the lid. Isn't that so pretty? I'm gonna go back in with that brush we were just using and I'm gonna use that to blend the bronzer in with that shade just to create more of like a seamless transition up into the brow area. And then I'm gonna take a bit of a smaller brush and I'm actually gonna take some of the Flower Beauty Seal the Deal Luminizing Setting Spray. I'm gonna wet the brush with this and I'm going to apply this along the entire lower lash line. And I'm gonna do the same thing that I just did to the top lashes, or the top eyelid I mean, and I'm gonna take that brush we were using with bronzer and I'm gonna use that to blend the edges along the lower lash line as well, just so there's not like this harsh sparkly line. I want it to blend into another color and then into the concealer underneath. Next, I'm going to dip into the shade right here. This is called Paradise, and I'm using this as an inner corner highlight. And then I'm also just taking it onto the eyelid a little bit as well, just in this very inner portion here, blending it into that purple. Next, I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's the dark purple called Jaguar. And I just want a little bit of definition on this outer edge here. So I'm going right up against the lower lash line and then buffing that into this outer V just to create a bit more dimension there. I'm taking what's left on the brush and going along the outer third of the lower lash line. Yeah, I really feel like that helps to bring that dimension into the eye look. I'm gonna do the same thing on this eye. With a clean eyeshadow brush, I'm just taking the other end of that Flower Beauty brush we were just using. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of gently buff over the edges just to make sure everything is super seamless. All right, let's do mascara. I'm gonna go in with the Flower Beauty Warrior Princess Mascara. And I'm gonna build this up quite a bit. Actually, I want pretty intense lashes for this look. So I'm probably gonna do about 3 coats on the top lashes and then just 1 good solid coat on the lower. Okay, so mascara is on. I did get a little bit of mascara on the eyelids, but as always, I'm just gonna wait for that to dry. Let's go ahead and move on to blush and highlighter. I'm gonna use the Flower Beauty Flower Pots Powder Blush in the shade Sweet Pea. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you will know how much I love this blush. This is one of the first products from Flower Beauty that I ever tried and one of my first favorites from them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this. I'm gonna smile and just stamp this onto the cheeks. I like this blush for when I'm using more of like a purpley undertone or like a cool tone on the eyes. It always makes it look so pretty and cohesive when I use this blush with tones like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and press this onto the cheeks. I'm going a little bit higher than normal just so that I can have a little bit more of that editorial romantic kind of a look. I'm obsessed with this formula. Next, I'm going to take one of my new favorite things from Flower Beauty. This is their Day Glow Highlighting Glaze. It's such a beautiful cream highlighter. It's super easy to use. I just always take my sponge and I just go on the other side of the foundation that I have on the sponge. I just dip directly into the pan and then I gently start to layer that up on the high points of the face. And it just gives the most gorgeous lit from within glow that looks so natural. And I also notice that it never disturbs my makeup underneath, especially if I'm being gentle applying it. Obviously, you don't want to like swipe. You want to just gently press this over top of the products that are already on the skin, but it's just the prettiest product. Look at that. Oh, I'm obsessed with this stuff. It's so good. I'm going to take a bit down the center of the nose, on the cupid's bow, a little bit above the brow. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the Flower Beauty Blush Bombs. These are amazing cream blushes. I've been using these for years as well. I'm just going to take a bit of the shade Bubbly, which again is another cool tone pink. I'm going to take the bottom of my sponge and just kind of press that into the sponge, and then I'm going to go over the very largest parts of my cheek right here, the apples of the cheek, and just kind of add that color there as well. Now it looks really intense right now, but first of all, blush is the first thing to fade. Second of all, I always go back over when I use a cream blush. I go back over with my foundation brush and just tone things down a little bit. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and then I'm going to take what's left on the foundation portion of the sponge and do the same thing, just so that it looks like it's coming from beneath the skin, not sitting on top of the skin. I feel like that's a really good trick for making your blush look more natural, even if it is more of an unnatural tone like this kind of a baby pink shade. I'm just going to go ahead and do that, make sure everything's blended. Okay, I'm just revisiting the brows and kind of adding a little bit more color to the ends of the brows. I'm pretty happy with how the middle portion of the brow turned out. Okay, so now I'm just going to step back and assess the situation. I want a little bit more bronzer on the forehead as always. I feel like I always do that. I'm just going to go ahead and take what's left on the bronzer brush and press that into the skin. I'm just going to press that into the skin again with the sponge. And then I do feel like I need a little bit more powder in the T-zone after adding those cream products. So I'm going to go back into the Light Illusion Perfecting Powder, just a tiny bit of that, and go right along the sides of the nose. That's mainly where I don't want shine. I just want smoothness right here, right along the nose, and even on the tip of the nose, and even on the chin a little bit. Also the center of the forehead, so I'm just going to dust a bit more there. Okay, I'm really happy with the rest of the look, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the Flower Beauty Seal the Deal Illuminating Setting Spray. I'm going to give it a good shake, and I'm just going to focus this on the outer portions of the face. This has a bit of an oil in it, so you really don't need too much to get a really nice glowy effect. I love the smell of this. It smells so good. I'm going to take my fan and let that dry. And then I'm going to press everything back into the skin one last time with the sponge. Before I forget, I'm just taking that eyeshadow brush and buffing off any mascara marks. And then I don't actually have a Flower Beauty brow gel, so I'm just going to use this one right here from Wander Beauty just to set the brows. Alright you guys, so that completes this makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial and also the final look. I love how this turned out. I love Flower Beauty. I feel like every single time I use their products, my complexion looks so good and so healthy. All the other products are so high quality as well, and I'm always so happy with how my makeup turns out when I use these products. I've been using them for years for a reason, so I hope you guys enjoyed this look. Thanks again to Flower Beauty for sponsoring today's video, and like I said before, if you guys want to check out any of these products that I used or their website, I will have that linked down below, and you can also use the code Allie20 at checkout for 20% off of your purchase. I know so many of you guys are Flower Beauty fans, so if you are, let me know in the comments what your favorite Flower Beauty product is. I would love to hear from you guys. If you guys enjoyed this full face or one brand tutorial, let me know what other brands you would like to see me do in the future. I really do want to make this more of a series because I feel like it really gives me an opportunity to showcase the brand's capabilities and my favorite things from the brand and things like that. So let me know if there's other brands that you want to see me do this with in the future. Also, if you end up recreating this look, I would love to see it. Be sure to tag me on Instagram. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy wherever you are, and I hope you have an amazing day. I will see you guys in my next video. Love you. Bye!